Well, Michael Pregent is a former U.S. intelligence officer and military advisor who served in Iraq and has advised both Peshmerga and Iraqi security forces. He joins us live now from Washington, D.C. So we know that Iraqi troops and their allies were already advancing on Mosul from the north and the east, also coming in from the south. Now we have a new front opening up to the west of Mosul. What is your assessment of how the military campaign is unfolding?
Well, thanks for having me, Miriam. So the operation, absent the Shia militias, is supposed to push ISIS out of Mosul and preferably push them towards Syria for the final battle to take place in Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor. The Shia militias moving to Tal Afar will block that route. It sounds brilliant as a military tactic, but it's not a sanctioned one. The Shia militias are operating outside of the control of the Iraqi government. They're not responsive to U.S. requests not to participate. They've actually told Prime Minister Abadi, we're not asking for permission, we're going to participate regardless. And this move to Tal Afar, and then they say they're going to attack western Mosul, is one where they will indiscriminately target Sunni civilians like they have in Ramadi and Fallujah, and they'll start attacking those cars that are leaving Mosul and also going back to Mosul. So it kind of is derailing the operation.
But we don't know that it's going to perhaps derail the operation just yet. How does this need to be managed now? Because clearly we have these troops being deployed to the western approach to Mosul. Now this is an area where there is a genuine military need for the troops to go in and encircle the city, I suppose, if the advance is to be successful. How does that need to be balanced with the tensions it could create within this sort of broad coalition of diverse military actors?
Well, the hope by Baghdad and the United States was that ISIS would use the western route to Syria to flee Mosul. Instead, they're reinforcing Mosul from Syria. There are cars going towards Mosul with fighters, weapons, supplies, and more importantly, with new human shields. They're forcing families to move towards Mosul. So the military operation wasn't to encircle Mosul. It was to force ISIS out into Syria. The Shia militias are blocking that now. And that sounds good militarily. It sounds like a good tactic. However, it's not synced. It's not coordinated. And the Shia militias remain a wild card based on what they've done in Ramadi and Fallujah.
Based on what we've seen so far, what do you make of the level of coordination between the Iraqi federal troops and the Kurdish Peshmerga forces?
Well, the Peshmerga are working with the United States. They're going into blocking positions. They're moving on the towns that are on the outskirts of Mosul, but they've assured us that they're not going to go into Mosul. So they'll take up blocking positions the closer they get to Mosul, meaning that they'll stop. They'll have a static position, and they just won't let ISIS move towards recaptured territory. The Iraqi security forces are supposed to move into Mosul and actually push ISIS out. The Shia militias, again, are the wild card. They're not part of this operation, yet they are because they choose to be. They're outside of the control of Baghdad, and they're outside of the influence of the United States.
Michael Pregent in Washington, D.C., thank you.
Thank you.